What is going on, people? Welcome back to another video, debriefing week. I'm losing track now. I think it's week 7 I'm supposed to be debriefing in this one. Because even this morning, for context, it's Monday the 27th of October. I've already done my first training session for Monday and obviously started recording week 8. So yeah, I'm kind of losing track. Okay, what are you doing? Hold on. That will help you in a second. So yeah, due to recap week 7 now, which was a good week. Got my full, all my sessions done for the week, which is always a good sign. Currently in Dallas, Texas, by the way. I think you'll learn a lot more about that in next week's recap. As I say, I started recording that this morning. But for now, let me show you what we got going on for breakfast, what the breakfast situation's saying. So we've got some scrambled eggs, some chicken sausages and some potatoes. Some, what they call it, creamy yogurt. It's basically Greek yogurt, I'm assuming. Some pancakes with sugar-free pancake syrup and some sourdough bread. So yeah, due to tuck in.
Be careful, very gently.
Right, that breakfast has been absolutely polished off. It was good. It was good stuff. It's actually our last morning here, / last night was our last night here. We've been here 2 nights. So I've already recorded my gym session. I've already recorded my recap for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday already. I did that as part of my gym session this morning because I was going to recap the whole thing as part of my gym session like I did last week with week 6. But then I've realised I wasn't really having that much rest or enough rest to be able to do that because I was doing a circuit where it's only 60 minutes rest in between each set and blah, 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 blah. So you were going to see the recap of those 3 days in 3, 2, 1. Right, so as I was on this bike getting my first warm-up bit in, I realised that the mic was still recording. It was originally just going to be B-roll. Realised the mic was recording. So I'll quickly just start debriefing week 7 if you like. So week 7 kicks off Monday, as you would have seen, because I recorded my week 6 review during this session, during the push session on Monday. Obviously, in a lot busier of a gym. This one's quieter. So hopefully I'm not going to be as shy. Hopefully no one comes in, although I have said, obviously it's mad early in the morning, so hopefully no one does come in. Also, I learned my mistake, I think, because I left this filter off. It was a bit difficult for the mic to pick me up out against the outside noise. Obviously, it's quiet in here now, so I probably don't need this now, but I was going to keep it on from now on anyway. So yeah, apologies for that, for the audio. Can't lie, I couldn't be bothered to re-record. But I put subtitles, so hopefully it makes do. Anyway, good week last week. I think any week in which I get my full sessions done, all my sessions done, is a good week. So I've got all of them done. Although I did need to give myself grace, working 7 days a week is obviously, not a stretch, but there are going to be times where you don't get all your sessions in. Plus, I didn't train Tuesday, for example, ended up doubling up on Wednesday, which obviously I'll come on to. But Monday, started off with the push session, was good. As I mentioned in last week's video, definitely feel like I'm getting weaker because weights that I was doing before. Used to do like 3 sets of 10 at 100 kg. That was calm. Now, as you saw, I didn't struggle, but pushed myself to get 3 sets of 6 in at 100 kg. But it's to be expected with the way that I'm training, the style in which I'm training is to be expected. So give myself some grace. And I need to recognize that I'm not training for hypertrophy or strength anymore. As of right now, I'm training for conditioning, for running, right? Obviously, main priority right now is a marathon. Not sure if I mentioned, but I'm running the marathon next year, London Marathon, April 26th. Link below for donation page, raising money for the Sickle Cell Society. So get on that. Any donations, no matter how big or small, will be welcomed and appreciated. So yeah, I mean, well, that was last week. All well and good. Let me crack on with the rest of this warm-up and I'll carry on telling you about last week's sessions. There's no aircon in here, man. It's warm. So before I get into the first exercise or the first circuit as part of this training session here, let me just quickly talk about Wednesday's session. So Wednesday, I doubled up because I didn't get as running on Tuesday. So Wednesday, I started off with obviously my pull session, which, yep, cool, all well and good. That's fine. I've started incorporating deadlifts. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I will do, because otherwise that pull session just felt mad short. And just like overweight too quickly, didn't feel like I was getting an actual pump in. And plus, that this is obviously one of the conventional. What's another word I can use? Yeah, it's just one of the conventional compound exercises that you can do, right? So yeah, I had to include that. So yeah, got my pull session in, and then I did my 6K easy run on the treadmill. Annoyingly, with this week, I've actually ended up doing 2 treadmill runs, which isn't ideal. I think my recovery runs is really what I want to be doing on the treadmill, and all my other ones, really, I want to be getting outside and running outside, because when it comes to marathon day, I'm not going to be running on a steady pace, flat treadmill, am I? But still, it can be good, especially for those recovery runs, as I've said, for maintaining pace and just being able to moderate the environment, if you like. Now, one thing I will say is running on a treadmill almost feels like a cheat code. Now, I remember I put the screenshot on the screen, but ultimately, because my Apple Watch is messed up, I can't track stuff on my Apple Watch, and therefore I can't show you the Strava stats unless I'm running outside and I use the Strava app, right? But ultimately, yeah, I did 6K. Here it says the 3.73 miles, because that's what the treadmill works in. Did it in 41 minutes. Can't remember what pace I tried to do it. I think it was either 7 or 7:30 per kilometer. I tried to maintain. And I just said to my cousins in our kind of running group chat that running on the treadmill should be illegal. Because basically, my heart rate didn't surpass 140, which I think that's the maximum it got to, an average of 137, as you'll be able to see here. Average of 138, sorry, as you'll be able to see on screen. Now, that would never happen outdoors. Do you get what I mean? I'd be more in the 140s. Basically. So yeah, this was obviously a very easy run, if you like, which is why I'm conscious of running on a treadmill. Because obviously, again, I'm not going to be, that's not going to be where I'm working. Although, don't get me wrong, I understand and appreciate that you're meant to be working in zone 2, but I think that's even zone 1 for me. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, just very conscious of that. Maybe if I'm doing treadmill runs going forward, I'll up the pace a bit just so that my heart rate gets up. Because I think that's something I need to start coming to terms with. When we say easy run, this, that, and the other, I believe is more so to do with your heart rate, right? And the effort that you're putting in, as opposed to the pace that you're going at, right? Because obviously that's relative. Do you get what I mean? That's relative. A 5:30 per kilometer pace for me is basically my 5K pace at the moment, or just a little bit slower than my 5K pace from memory. Whereas for other people, shout out Kwesi, he's running the marathon as well. For other people like Kwesi, 5:30 is, I think, even slower than his easy pace. Do you get what I mean? So it's all relative. So I need to realize that I work based on my heart rate zones and all that, as opposed to the timings, and really start focusing on that. But yeah, that was Wednesday, pull session and 6K easy run done on the treadmill. So total kilometers for the week so far, 6K. So that was Monday through Wednesday. On Thursday, I got out for a 7K. Now, this one was interesting. Got out very early in the morning. I think about, what time? I think it was about 6:30 in the morning I got out. I can't lie, I was delaying as well, because boy, it was pouring down with rain before I got out. Luckily, it stopped by the time I did get out. So this is the first run during this whole marathon training that I've had to fight the elements. To be fair, it wasn't that bad. As I say, it stopped raining. It was windy though. I did about 3.7K. I did about 3.7K in a headwind, which wasn't fun. And then I remember the first kind of kilometer or so, my hands were cold. I'm just there thinking, right, is this what I'm about to endure as we hit the winter months of training? So that's all going to be fun, but let's see how we get on. The run itself, 7K, as I say, mainly because of the wind, it just felt like it just felt harder than it needed to be. But anyway, as always, in terms of time and etc., I'll put that on screen, but did it in 45 minutes 25, maintained a pace of 6:28 per kilometer. But yeah, as I say, kind of felt a little bit harder than it needed to, purely because of the wind and the elements and all of that. But I guess that's all part of the training. And as I said, I almost did 4 kilometers in a headwind, which was horrible. But anyway, we move. Now, Friday, I did my leg session as usual. That's all well and good, but we'll just get straight into the Saturday recovery run. Saturday's recovery run I did in the evening. I did it outside as well, which recently I have been doing it. No, that's cap actually. Sorry, I did it in the morning. I just checked Strava. I did it in the morning because we were flying Saturday early afternoon, so I couldn't do it any later than that. But yeah, got out. very early, did the recovery run, 4K, well, 4.08K apparently. Did it in 28 minutes, maintained a pace of 6:54 per kilometer. I started off ridiculously quick. I can't, well, not ridiculously quick, but for a recovery run, I started off ridiculously quick because I have copped, your boy, guys, has copped some new running shoes, the Adidas Adizero Evo SLs. Very happy with them. So this was my kind of break-in run, the first run in them. I was actually going to wait, as I said, we were traveling on Saturday, so I was going to wait until my run's out here, but I saw I think ChatGPT told me not to take new shoes out on a run until you've broken into them or you've at least worn them once. But they had absolutely no issues. I might do a kind of like separate review on them or something maybe. But no, so I got out first run in those, which were very comfortable. And as I say, kind of the first, I'm going to say kilometer and a half, like I was going a lot faster than I really should have been. But that's because I just felt bad running slower in them shoes, man. Them shoes are sick. The bounce, the spring, they're comfortable, everything. It made me realize that I've been slacking with my Pegasus 2s, man. My Pegasus Turbo 2s or whatever they're called. But yeah, no, all good. So yeah, got a recovery run done. Managed to slow the pace down a lot and bring it to that 6:54 per kilometer by the end of it. So yeah, all good. Happy with that. And then yeah, so next I'm gonna chat about the long run for this week. Right, so breakfast absolutely polished off. I'm now back in the hotel room in the executives corner. This pretty fancy kind of L-shaped desk in the corner of the room. Yeah, fit for a boss. So why not take a seat here? Anyway, into Sunday now. So yesterday, as of this date of recording, Sunday the 26th of October, I did my long run. Now this was interesting to say the least. So it's my second wear in the Adidas Adizero Evo SLs. Again, still got great things to say about it. Can't complain. Happy with those. I also wanted to trial out a running vest that I bought. It's this one that I'm seeing all over TikTok, although I didn't get it from TikTok. It's one that I'm seeing all over TikTok. To be fair, I took some footage, so I can't remember exactly what I said. So I might slap that in here now for you to watch and see what I'm talking about, reviewing it a little, or doing a little bit of a review if you like. So yeah, if that's appropriate or relevant, I'll slap that here now. Yes, people, what's good? Coming live from Dallas, Texas. Long story as to, well, to be fair, I'm meant to be here, but I'm not meant to be staying here, but it looks like I will be staying here. Anyway, about to go for a 14K long run, and I thought I would try out a new running vest that I've just copped. It's actually one that I've seen on TikTok, although I didn't get it from TikTok. But it's this one. This one right here. Don't know if you can see that. The Inox toe, I think it's called. I've got a little man all excited running around the place. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, first impressions, there's a distinct lack of pockets. There's not really a lot going on. But anyway, let me go for this run. I will fill it up with what I need. I've got a couple gels. I've got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is what I'm recording on right now. And I've got my phone, but I'm gonna carry that obviously because I'm in a completely different city. I'm in the US. I don't know where the heck I am. I'm gonna use my phone on Strava and run around a map that I've planned out on Strava, or a route that I've planned out on Strava. And I might get a water bottle from reception and put that in this pocket here. But really, I mean, initial impressions, there's one pocket there that is clearly just for water because you can't tighten it, you can't zip it, you can't close it, nothing. There's another one just in front of it, which is a bit smaller. I'm not really entirely sure what you'd be putting in there. Maybe keys, something heavy enough that will stick in there, stay in there and not fall out. So maybe keys. And then you've got this one here, which is obviously clearly for your phone. And then you've got the back bit, which would, I guess, it could be for like a water bladder or something. But that's where I'm going to be putting my gels, because I don't see any other logical place that I can put my gels, to be honest with you. Yeah, obviously can't put them in there because they'll just fall out. Obviously that one's my phone, like I said. So yeah, but where I say phone, that's where I'm going to be putting my camera. Otherwise, I guess it could go in there. To be fair, it could go in there with the camera, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I'll put it on. Right, man, let's move for like the telly with the bibs. What's going on here? Let's try that again, shall we? No, that's shambolic. What's going on here? How was I getting it on before and now all of a sudden I'm getting stage fright with the camera?
It's quite high priority because you're distracted. You've got nowhere to stay.
There we go. Got there in the end.
Okay, so how long can we expect to get back?
Alright. So this is what it looks like on.
How long will it take us to hear back? Gabriel, is that the left? How long will we expect to hear back?
You can probably hear the missus in the background trying to sort out the situation with these flights because, yeah, long story short, we flew into Dallas. We're meant to be flying into Montego Bay this morning. There's a Hurricane 5 category. There's a Category 5 hurricane on its way to Montego Bay, so our flight's been cancelled. So yeah, we're now stuck in Dallas at the moment, trying to work out what we're gonna do. But anyway, still got to get these runs in, man. Marathon prep doesn't stop. So yeah, this is what it looks like on. I'll start filling it up. So I guess phone I'm gonna hold with my things there. You see, I don't know if I can fit 3 and the camera in there, but we'll see. But hey, anyway, let's get cracking. So I've now taken oh, sorry, Gabriel. I've now taken the Osmo Pocket 3 off the tripod that I had, and obviously that the previous clip was recorded on, just so you can see whether it fits in the pocket here or not. As I said, I've got 3 gels in here ready to fuel for the run. Got the Pocket 3 here now. Try to put it in there because, as I said, there's not that many pockets on this thing, so you've got to be kind of economical or think about the spacing and stuff. So to be fair, that's okay. Obviously I'll put the water in there, so that's all right. You've got the bladder in the back. I've got a pocket for the water bladder in the back. I did initially put the gels in the back there to see if that would work, and obviously it would, but I'm not gonna lie, it's obviously not the most practical because you want to be able to access the gels quickly, right? But yeah, I guess we'll stick with that for now. Obviously as the run goes on anyway, at some points I'll be holding the camera so I can take shots, and obviously I'll get through the gels as the run goes on as well, so it should be all right. But 14K in Dallas, let's get it. So now I've got the water in here, but we will see how that holds up, because yesterday or the day before I tried to run with another running vest, put the water in there, and now I had to take the vest off straight away and ditch the water. It was not working in the slightest, so let's see how this one may be right. That's not too bad, that's not too bad. A lot better than it was yesterday, so, or the other one. So try to use Strava to map out a route. Obviously, as I've mentioned a couple times now, I like the idea of going for runs in new environments, new cities. It's a great way to explore and see what wherever you are has to offer. Is what I'm trying to say, if I can get my words out. Use Strava to map out a route. 14K, I thought perfect. So it's going to take me along the side of the airport, because we're staying in a hotel right next to the airport. It's going to take me along the side of the airport. If you know me, you know I like planes, so I thought great. That's going to be fantastic. See some planes take off and land at the same time, see sunrise, etc. I thought, cool. So I'll start the run, and within 5 minutes, within a kilometer of the run, it's trying to make me enter a highway, basically, with no footpath, no pavement, no nothing for me to actually run on. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, nah, this is sketchy as hell. So I turned around, to be honest with you. Again, I've got some footage, so I'll slap that in here. Okay, not even 5 minutes into this run, and I've already encountered some problems. So Strava's trying to tell me to go down here. There was a very clear sign saying authorized vehicles only. Now, I don't know if that means that I can't go there, but there's no footpath either. So I can't lie, this run is looking techie still. Because what, if I go down there and I end up there, that's a highway. There ain't nowhere to be walking there or running. So I can't lie, I'm about to have to go back to the hotel and run on a treadmill, because I don't think there's anywhere for me to be running here. It's all mad. It's all mad, it's all mad. Yeah, I think just to be safe, I'm gonna head back to the hotel and I'll do a very boring 14K on the treadmill. That is not gonna be fun, but we gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. we'll just call this 5 minutes as a warm-up. Yeah, we'll just call it a warm-up, I guess. Oh yeah, in terms of the vest, to be fair, this one is holding up. I like this one, it's all right, but as I said, it's just the pockets. There needs to be more pockets on there, but it's pretty sturdy on my around my chest. It's pretty sturdy on not really budging much. There was one period which I actually think I caught on camera in which the bottle fell out, but that's because I was holding my right arm up like this, and so I guess wasn't really in the optimal position, and so the bottle just fell out. But before that, I didn't have any issues with movement of the bottle. So yeah, all good, all good. I might keep this one. Anyway, so I turn around, I go back to the hotel. I see that little, whatever it was, kilometer that I did as a warm up, and I just go to the hotel gym. Which you may have seen some of because I recorded some of this video in the hotel gym. And I've just gone on the treadmill for just over an hour and a half. So I'm going to put the stats on screen now. But basically, obviously, because it's a treadmill, basically this treadmill stops after an hour. So you'll be able to see there. So my first split was an hour. I did 5.78 miles. So this is all in miles, but the total will add to 14 kilometers. And then the next split was 29 minutes and 20 seconds, 2.92 miles, for a total of 8.7 miles. And obviously did it in an hour and 29 minutes and 23 seconds, judging by that. So how did that run feel? Again, as I say, obviously entering territory where it's the furthest and furthest I'm going to be running, although next week is a taper week, so I bring it down to, I think it's 10K. But for this 14K run, felt all right. I'm not gonna lie, by the end of it, for like the last 10 minutes, let's say the last mile, I was not struggling, but it was starting to take its toll, if you like. I think there's an element of where obviously I was just running a consistent pace throughout the whole thing. Obviously, if you're running out on the road, naturally, while obviously you can do this on a treadmill, naturally it's easier when you're running on the road to kind of just slow your pace down a bit and then pick it up a bit as and when you need to. But just running a consistent pace for that long, I think is, by the end of it, I was struggling a little bit. Let me not lie to you. I also tried refueling properly this time. So I made sure I set an alarm as soon as I set off for half an hour into the run to take my first energy gel, which you can probably see lined up along here. Product placement. I mean, I'm not sponsored. I'm just showing you which gels I'm using at the moment. But high five if you are watching. Feel free to follow your boy. But it was cool, to be fair. So I basically... I stopped very briefly on the treadmill, took one energy gel, took a sip of water, and cracked on with the remainder of the run. Went until so that was about 3 miles in that I did that. Well, that was exactly 3 miles in that I did that actually, which was around just after half an hour. Then at the hour point where the treadmill stopped and turned off, basically, I took another break, went take a leak real quick, took another gel, and then cracked on again. And then continued for the remaining, as you can see, 29 minutes or so. So would I say the energy gels actually helped? I don't know. I say that because all things weren't equal here. Obviously, previously, I took the gel too late. I took it like 49 minutes into the run, and I was running outdoors, obviously. This time, I was running indoors. But what I will say is I felt okay, despite what I was saying around kind of towards the last mile or so, feeling it and whatnot. I felt a lot better later than in my last run. Again, that could be down to the treadmill and running indoors, because one thing I will say as well is that obviously with these new shoes as well, the springiness and the bounciness, I feel like that's actually negated when you're running on a treadmill, because obviously the treadmill also has kind of like a cushioning technology to it as well. So that kind of negates, you shouldn't really feel it as much as you do when you're outside. Outside is completely noticeable, it's night and day. On the treadmill, not so much. I could have been wearing my Pegasus Turbo 2s, to be honest with you. So if all things were equal, I would say, yeah, maybe we'll see on my next long run. We'll see, because I'll make sure that's outdoors. But what I will say is starting and stopping, I mean, it takes like a minute or two to get the legs kind of restarted again, because the legs were feeling heavy at the restart of each of those refueling points, if you like, particularly that second one. But again, I think maybe the gel helped in terms of kind of combating that and making the legs start to feel fresh again as I continued the run and went on. But yeah, so I mean, a lot going on there. 14K in the bag. I think my total mileage, I don't know, I'll put it on screen once I've calculated it for the week. But no, feeling good. I mean, my foot afterwards, my left foot is always the problem. It's always the problem foot. But my left foot afterwards, feeling it a little bit. So I have been using the lacrosse ball quite a bit. But otherwise, all good. Can't complain. So yeah, that's another week in the bag of marathon training. Week 7, locked and loaded, and now we are fully into week 8, having done my session for the day so far. Guys, as I say, I'm doing this for charity, raising money for the Sickle Cell Society. So I'm going to leave a link to the donation page in the description below. So please, any donations are welcomed and greatly appreciated. And I will catch you in the next week's video. Peace.